All right, so you can take wide-legged variation of child's pose or knees together, but just starting in this shape, hands might come back or forward. You can take any variation of child's that feels okay. Take a couple moments to settle in. That might mean walking your shoulders down your back, maybe dropping your hips back towards your heels, maybe reaching through the fingertips or potentially softening through your elbows. And taking a big breath in through your nose, all the way to your belly. And then exhale, let your body drop heavy. Inhale through your nose, fill all the way up. And then exhale to let that go. Inhale. Might even feel a gentle hold at the top. And then exhale to empty out. Just take a couple more breaths, just like this. Feel the expansion and the retraction of your breath. You can maybe notice what's happening within your body as it just starts to wake up through breath. And then let's start to make this a little bit more active. So if you do have your hands back, start to walk fingertips forward. Press through all of your fingertips and palms. You might even feel your elbows slightly lift away from your mat. And then at the same time, feel like your hands are glued towards the earth. Slide your shoulders down your back. Continue to let your head rest heavy. As you inhale, feel air travel all the way down towards the backs of your hips. And then as you exhale, soften into your shoulders, drop your heart towards the ground. Let's take 2 more breaths just like that. Full breath in and long exhale breath out. Last breath in child's pose. And gently peel yourself forward until you come into a modified plank. Walk your knees in if knees were wide in child's pose. Inhale, shift your shoulders towards your fingertips. As you exhale, lower all the way down, elbows scoop beside your rib cage. Okay. Walk your fingertips out wide for some dancing cobra. So you'll tent up onto all 10 fingertips. As you inhale, peel up through center. As you exhale, lower your right shoulder and look to the left. Inhale, breath, lift up through center, press into your fingertips. Exhale, lower your left shoulder and look over to the right. Let's take 2 more to each side. So inhales bring you up, exhales lower you to twist. Take the full length of the breath. So this is really slow and mindful. Even though it is a Vinyasa flow this morning, that we don't need to change the breath to match movement. We actually slow movement down to match our breath. All right, the next time that you come up through center, gently release all the way back down. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Zip your big toes together to touch. Press into your hands and then lift away from your mat. Walk your hands towards your knees and sit your hips back onto your heels. All right, you can tuck your toes or you can keep tops of your feet grounded. If you need more stability, just take your knees hip width distance. So a couple of ways you can do this. As you inhale, lift up so that shoulders, hips, and knees are in the line. And then take the arms out wide. As you exhale, curl and round in. Sit your hips back towards your heels and give yourself a big hug. Tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, breath, open up wide. Reach fingertips out to the side of your space or cactus arms if you don't have room. Exhale, curl and round in like you're folding over your thighs. Let's take 3 more. So inhale, breath, squeeze your glutes at the top, slide shoulder blades together. Exhale to curl in. Last 2. Feel the pause at the end of the breath in this wide open shape. And then exhale. Feel the pause as you close down. And last one, big full breath in. And then as you exhale, gently release your hands to the ground. Walk your hands forward to tabletop. Tucking your toes under, float your knees off of your mat. You start to fire up the core, press your belly button up to your spine. Keep your breath long and smooth. You can spread your fingertips wide, press through all of your fingertips to take some of the weight out of your wrists. Now imagine you're squeezing a block between your thighs. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. One more breath in. And as you exhale, downward facing dog, lift your hips up and back. And just start to find some movement. So you might pedal out your feet. You may need to shorten or lengthen your stance. If you're feeling a little bit unsteady, walk your feet out wider. This will just give you a little bit more stability in your base. And from downward facing dog, take a deep bend into your knees. Walk your hands to the back of your mat to fold. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen. Press your hands in towards your shins or your thighs. Find a flat back. Exhale to fold. And 2 more just like that. So full breath in to halfway lift. Tip some weight to the balls of your feet. Exhale, fold, drive through your heels. Last one, inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold. Keep that bend in your knees. Take your hands onto your thighs. Curl and round your spine as you walk your hands up your legs to come all the way up to standing. Belly button pulls into spine to support your low back. Once you come to standing at the back of your mat, roll your shoulders once or twice. Palms face forward, Tadasana, mountain pose. And close down your eyes. And you might shift your weight forward or back, side to side. Just find a little bit of movement so you feel the edges of your feet and then settle somewhere in stillness in center. Take 3 grounding breaths before we really go into any movement. So take a full breath in through your nose. Feel like you're lifting to the crown of your head. Exhale, fingertips pull towards the earth, shoulder blades draw down your back. Inhale, breath. Press into your feet. Feel like you're growing taller. And exhale, grow heavier. 1 more breath in. And big exhale, breath out. All right, on your next inhale breath, start to scoop your hands all the way up to the sky. Big full body stretch. As you exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, breath 2, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to walk your hands forward all the way to high plank. All right. Working into some undulation of the spine, always optional, lower onto your knees if you don't feel supported in this pose. So take a full breath in. As you exhale, slower than you'd like, ripple back downward facing dog. Inhale, breath, pick up your heels, ripple forward all the way to high plank. When you come to the pause in your breath, that's where you'll pause in the pose. And then exhale, ripple back, downward facing dog. Let's take that 2 more times. Really press into the earth to separate shoulder blades. Stay strong through the arms. Belly button continually pulls up towards spine, activating your core. And then knee all the way back to downward facing dog. Look forward, step your right to the top of your mat. So whether that's one giant step or you take a couple of steps, but meet in a fold, top of your mat. Inhale, breath, 2, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. Big full body stretch. Catch your left wrist with your right hand. As you exhale, start to pour over to the right. Okay, inhale, breath, lift back up through center, switch your grip, and then exhale over to the other side. Inhale, breath, come back up through center. Exhale, forward fold, release your arms. Halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left toes back, low runner's lunge. Optional as always, you can lower that back knee at any point. Add in a twist, inhale, take your right arm all the way up. And exhale, soften your shoulder blades towards one another. Start to circle your right fingertips back behind you and down. Then inhale, breath, reach forward and up. So even allow your breath to guide you here. Exhale, hand reaches back and down. Inhale, where you start to lift through the fingertips. Take one more full breath in. You'll end at the end of the inhale with fingertips up to the sky. And then exhale, take your hand to the earth, three-legged dog. Press into your hands, sweep your right heel up. Bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. As you exhale, step through high runner's lunge. Use your inhale breath to take your fingertips up. All right, adding in a little bit of a twist. So inhale breath, reach up through your fingertips. As you exhale, take your left elbow to your right thigh, lean forward, and then take your right hand back behind you. Okay, so you're in a half prayer twist, and then right arm reaches back. We're gonna move through this a couple of times. Always optional, lower that back knee. Inhale, breath, sweep both hands up to the sky. Exhale, twist to your right again. Left elbow to your thigh, right hand reaches back. Inhale, breath, come back up through center. Exhale, twist. It's a little bit slower, a little bit more steady. Last one, inhale, come up through center. Exhale, twist. Okay, now from this twist, circle your right hand all the way up. Plant your right hand onto your left and come into a prayer. Beautiful. Look down at your right big toe. Slide or step left toes to meet right. So right toe is your anchor, right toes, I should say. And then eventually you'll meet into your chair twist. On your inhale breath, bring your hands to heart center, face forward. Exhale to fold. Inhale breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Let's flush this out with a vinyasa. We'll go through it slower the first time, and then you can find your own pace. Step back to a high plank. All right, going through this with knees lowered. If you want to take this variation, lower your knees down. Inhale, shift forward, shoulders to fingertips. Exhale, only lower halfway. And then as you inhale, press tops of your feet into your mat, lift your knees, up dog, pull your heart forward. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. So same as you would do with the knees lifted, it's just that the knees are there for extra support. All right, looking forward, step, or if you want to play with hopping to get into that flight, take a deep bend in your knees, heels lift, and just play with kicking your heels in towards your glutes. You may need to step yourself up to the top of your mat. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, reach all the way up. Exhale, this time, drop your right hand down your body. Pour over with your left fingertips. Inhale, breath, lift back up through center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, breath, lift through center. Exhale to forward fold, let that go. Halfway lift, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step your right toes back. Low runner's lunge. Keep your right hand rooted down. As you inhale, twist open to the left. Left fingertips draw all the way up. Soften with the exhale. And then start to circle your arms. So after your next inhale, exhale, breath circles your hand back and down. Inhale to sweep forward and up. Exhale, back and down. And inhale, reach forward and up to the ceiling. Last one. Inhale, hold at the top. And then exhale, take your left hand to your mat. Three-legged dog, press into your hands. Slide your left heel back behind you. Bend into your left knee, stack into your hip. Peel your side body open. Exhale to high lunge. Step your left foot through and then use your inhale breath to reach all the way up. All right, if you felt like you couldn't twist on the other side without falling over, make sure that you have your feet wide enough apart. So you might need to heel toe that left foot off to the side. Feet at least hip width distance. Okay, take a full breath in. As you exhale, start to hinge forward, right elbow to your left thigh, left hand reaches back. Inhale, breath, sweep both hands up towards the sky. Exhale, twist. Right elbow, left thigh, reach your left hand back, turn your palm to the earth. Two more, just like that. Press into the ball of your right foot. Feel like you're perching higher onto your back leg. And last one. This time we're holding the twist. Squeeze inner thighs together. This will help with balance. Use your inhale to sweep your left hand up to the sky. Exhale, plant your left hand to meet your right. Okay, optional, lower that back knee at any point. Gaze down at your left big toe and use this as an anchor visually of where you're stepping. Take as many steps or one giant step, but right foot will meet your left at the top of your mat. Chair twist. Inhale, breath, bring your hands through heart center. And exhale, forward fold, let that go. Halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold, plant your hands, step your toes back, high plank. Optional to take vinyasa with your knees lowered, otherwise knees are lifted. Use your inhale breath, shift forward again, shoulders to fingertips. Exhale, only lower halfway. Pause. Inhale, tops of your feet to your mat, knees are lifted, up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. All right, if you were way ahead of me there, do that one more time. We're all gonna do it one more time, but if you're way ahead of me, slow it down. I want you to feel 4 distinct poses. High plank, low plank, up dog, and down dog. All right, on your own time, use your inhale to shift you forward. Exhale is where you lower. Inhale, pulls your heart forward, slight heart opener. And then exhale to your down dog. Beautiful. All right, walk your big toes together to touch. Inhale, breath, scoop your right heel high to the sky, bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. As you exhale, warrior one, plant your right foot towards the top of your mat. Left foot also turns and plants, and then use your inhale to sweep up. If your back heel is lifted, just shorten the stance until you can bring your back heel to the earth, and work on squaring your hips to the front of your mat. So that left hip pulls forward, right hip is going to pull back. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Roll your shoulders up and then down. So that grip of your hands is going to crack your chest wide open. Inhale, lift up through the sternum. As you exhale, humble warrior, start to hinge and fold the inside of your front thigh. Now you can keep a soft spine if you'd like and use your legs to hold you up. Scoop your right hip back and then relax into the back of your head and neck. Let your head hang heavy. Optional, arms can float away from your lower back. Feel how much stability you're gaining from the foundation of your feet. Can you press them deeper into your mat? Gently release your hands towards your low back and then release your hands to frame your front foot. You're going to want to slide your back foot up, maybe about 1/3 of the way, and then straighten out both legs for pyramid. Back toes can be turned off at an angle. Ideally, back heel is down, but if it's slightly lifted, that's okay too. All right, adding in a twist. Walk your left fingertips just slightly forward ahead of your right toes. As you inhale, start to peel your right hand up to the sky. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. All right, this is where it's gonna get a little bit different. Gently release your right hand down to the inside of your front foot. Pick up your back heel and turn, so your left toes now point more to the side of your mat, and you're gonna twist open the other side. So left hand will now come up. Okay, make sure that you're not using your lower back for this movement. Really engage your core, draw your belly button into your spine, and then feel like you're contracting through the left side to lift up. Start to slide your right hand up your front leg until it comes to the inside of your calf or your thigh for a triangle. Nice. Okay. If you want to make this pose more challenging, you can always take your right fingertips to point forward, or you can even take your left fingertips forward. Just make sure you're not collapsing through the side body, and you'll know if you feel like you're not doing a lot of work with that side body. Okay. Bend into your front knee. As you inhale, lift all the way up, warrior two. Reverse your warrior, flip your front palm, take your right hand all the way up to the sky. Exhale, come all the way back, warrior two. Inhale, breath, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, warrior two. Let's take that one more time. Inhale, breath to reverse your warrior. And then exhale, windmill your hands down either side of your front foot. Step back, high plank. Take any vinyasa of choice. Make sure it's those 4 distinct movements. So you're in one of them now. Take 3 more and meet into downward facing dog. If you prefer to skip vinyasa today, if wrists, elbows, shoulders are feeling tight, just ripple through the spine and meet back to down dog. All right, walk your big toes together to touch. Inhale, breath, left heel rises high. Bend into your left knee, stack into your hip, peel your side body open. As you exhale, step through warrior one. Turn your back foot out to an angle. Use your inhale breath to rise tall. Make sure you have a really steady foundation in this pose, especially for when we come into humble warrior. And then again, you can always widen your stance if you feel like you're gonna tip over to the left or to the right. Interlace your hands behind your back. Take the opposite grip. It should feel like you're almost holding somebody else's hand. It's a little sticky. Roll your shoulders up and down. Lift through the sternum. Feel your chin slightly rise up towards maybe to where the wall and the ceiling meet. Full breath in. As you exhale, keep pressing through both feet. Hinge forward and fold. Humble warrior. Hands can stay connected or they can float off. Humble warrior is one of my favorite standing poses because it brings in the duality of yoga. So you have both the strength and the grounding of the lower body, and then there's a lightness, a softness to the upper body. See if you can bring in both aspects to this pose. The tendency is to tighten up the upper body and match it to the lower body. So see if you can allow upper body to be a bit more free. Gently release your hands to your low back and then hands connect to your mat. Slide your back foot up enough that you can start to straighten out both legs. Always optional, grab your hands onto a block or a water bottle if it feels like the ground is far. Right hand stays rooted, walk slightly ahead of the line of your toes. And then inhale, twist open to the left. Left hand reaches either to your left hip or up towards the sky. If your hand reaches out, really twist open through the rib cage. Squeeze inner thighs towards one another. All right, setting up for triangle, left hand comes to the inside of your front foot. Can also come onto a block if you like. Turn your back toes to point to the edge of your mat, to the long edge, and then take your right hand up. Activate through the inner thighs. So feel like you're squeezing inner thighs towards one another. This is also going to help your core engage. And then slower than you'd like, start to slide your left hand up to the inside of your front leg. Okay, you can always roll that right hip forward if you feel like you need more stability, if it's pulling it all in the lower back, so more so that squaring of hips to the front. If you wanted to take same variation you did on the other side, left hand can come forward, or maybe right hand comes forward. This will be a little bit more core work. All right, bend into your front knee and then use momentum. Inhale, rise up, warrior two. Exhale, soften. Flip your front palm to face up. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, come back, warrior two. You can always straighten out that front leg if you need a break. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale to warrior two. Your last one. Inhale, breath, left hand reaches up. Exhale, windmill your hands down either side of your front foot. Step back, high plank. Cycle through a vinyasa or ripple through the spine. Meet into down dog, and then bring yourself down to child's pose. And just take a couple of recovery breaths. So if you have water or you made coffee this morning, you want to take a sip of that, you're welcome to. Even though this can be a bit of a stronger practice, it's also really important to take moments of rest. So if you feel your heart rate beating a little fast or your breath tightened or short, see if you can take a couple of deep exhales. The exhale is where we start to drop into the parasympathetic nervous system, and this is really what we're looking for. To be able to sit in the uncomfortable moments, to be in places that are new, scary, uncertain, and to remember we can still breathe. Let's take 3 more breaths. Gently make your way up to down dog. If you need a longer rest in child's pose, of course, stay here until you're ready to join in. Otherwise, next couple of breaths, you'll meet into your downward facing dog. All right, walk your big toes together to touch. As you inhale, right heel lifts high to the sky, 3-legged dog. Bend into your right knee, stack into your hips. As you exhale, take your right knee to your right elbow, shift your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, breath, press back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to your nose. Inhale, breath, press back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, cross your body, right knee to your left elbow, kick out your heel, falling star. Turn and plant your back foot, you can stay here, or left hand lifts up. You wanna make this extra spicy, play with floating your right foot off of your mat. Just one more inhale breath, whatever shape you've chosen. Exhale, left hand to the earth. Inhale, 3-legged dog, turn and pivot on your back toes. Exhale, step through, warrior one. Turn and pivot your back foot, and then use your inhale, rise up. Exhale, interlace your hands behind your back. We're gonna take that same sequence just a little quicker. Use your inhale breath, roll your shoulders up and down, hands are bound. Exhale, start to hinge forward and forward. Take one full breath in. And then exhale, release your hands to frame your front foot and slide your back foot up. Pyramid pose with a twist, left hand stays rooted. Use your inhale, twist open to the right. Right hand comes all the way up. Exhale, take your right hand to the inside of your front foot. Turn and pivot your back foot, triangle. Left hand comes up. Make sure you have a steady base. Feet are perpendicular, so pointing in a 90-degree angle. Use your inhale to lift up to triangle. Hold for your exhale. Bend into your front knee and then use your inhale. Lift all the way up and reverse your warrior. Straighten out your front leg, reach a little bit further. And then exhale, come all the way back to a 5-pointed star, but keep your front toes as they are. Start to bend into your back knee, Skandasana. Right toes are going to pull up, hands come down towards your mat. Now if this is where you stay, perfect. You can lower your hips all the way to your heel. I like to pick up my left heel if I'm going all the way down. Just make sure when you look at your knee and your toes are pointed in the same direction and your knee isn't off to the left or to the right, that your joints are really lined up. Let's move through these last few poses a couple of times. Walk your hands along your mat, knee all the way back to your reverse warrior. So you can kind of windmill your hands, add in any movement that feels good. As you exhale, straighten out your front leg and come back through center. Start to bend into your back knee. Take your hands towards the ground, sink your hips down, Skandasana. Shift forward again, reverse your warrior. Optional, you want to make this harder. Don't use your hands for as much of the transition. You can always keep them to your heart. Just straighten out your front leg and then start to bend into your back. Let's do this 2 more times. Shift forward, warrior 2. Reverse your warrior. Straighten out your front leg and start to bend to the back knee, Skandasana. Like you're moving through maple syrup. Let's take 1 more. Beautiful, you guys. Hopefully each time that you go through this, it starts to get a little bit smoother, a little bit easier. If it doesn't, don't worry, you're not doing it wrong. Let's meet into your Skandasana. And then this time, instead of coming into your warrior 2, you're gonna meet into your high lunge. So walk your hands along the edge of your mat, turn and pivot your toes, start in a low lunge, and then use your inhale to rise all the way up. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, breath, hinge forward. Exhale, twist over to the right. Hook your left elbow to your right thigh. You've been here before a couple of times. Bring your gaze down at your right big toe. Slide or step your left toes to meet your right. This time we're gonna hold for a little bit longer. Check in with your knees. Left knee tends to want to pull in front. So just scoop your left knee back. Squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze your calves, maybe even ankles. Press into your hands, see if you can lift your belly off of your front thigh. All right, inhale, breath, bring your hands to your heart center, face forward. Exhale to fold and let that go. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold, heel toe your feet hip width distance. Turn your toes to 10 and 2, and then sink your hips all the way down, yogi squat. 5 full recovery breaths. If this isn't comfortable, you can always take hips up higher and come to kind of a midway yogi squat. Close down your eyes and just let your breath flow. Release your hands to the earth. Lizard on the right side. So pick up your hips and step your left toes back. Option, you can keep the back knee lifted. This is going to be a more active lizard. So if you're feeling like you need the stretch, lower your back knee down. Maybe untuck the toes. Make sure your right toes are still pointed off to the side. You can roll to the pinky side edge of that foot if that feels good. You can lower down to forearms or even forearms onto a prop. If you want to add in a twist, right hand can reach up and back. You're also welcome to bind, picking up your back foot. Just make sure, whatever variation of this pose you've chosen, there's no pulling in the joint. So sometimes you're going to feel stretch in the muscles. You don't really want to feel that stretch in the joints. That means you're getting into the connective tissue, which is meant to be strong. It is meant to be tight because it's actually holding your bone structure together. Okay. Wherever you landed, so you can just soften into those areas that are feeling maybe a little bit restricted, maybe feeling a little bit sticky. Take 1 more breath. And then use your exhale to bring both hands back to your mat. You tuck your back toes to lift your back knee. 3-legged dog, sweep your right foot all the way up to the sky. Bend into your knees, stack into your hips. Exhale, step your right toes to meet your left. You can pedal out your feet a couple of times. Let that go. Walk your big toes together to touch. As you inhale, sweep your left foot up. Bend into your left knee, stack into your hips. Exhale brings you into a variation of plank. So left knee to left elbow, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, breath, 3-legged dog. Sweep your foot back. Exhale, knee to nose, curl in. 1 more breath. Inhale, sweep up. Cross your body, left knee to your right elbow, falling star. Extend out your left foot. Use your inhale breath, take your right hand up. Optional, float your left foot off your mat. You're here for 1 more inhale. Use your exhale to bring your right hand to your mat. Inhale to three-legged dog. Exhale, warrior one. Turn and pivot your back foot. Use your inhale to rise tall. Exhale, interlace your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders up and down. Use your inhale to lift through the sternum. Exhale, hinge and fold to the inside of your front leg. Full breath in. And then use your exhale, release your hands down, slide your back foot up, prepare for pyramid twist. Right hand stays rooted. Inhale, twist to the left. Left hand to your hip or all the way up. On your exhale, untwist. Left hand comes down towards the ground. Inhale, twist to the other side. Okay, so still taking the fullness of the breath. Make sure your right toes point to the long edge of your mat. You might have to pick up your toes and pivot them. Use your next inhale to rise up. Just sliding your hands up towards inside of your calf. Use your inhale breath, come all the way up, warrior two, and reverse your warrior. Exhale, straighten out your front leg, bring your hands out to the sides. Bend into your back knee, hands come down towards the ground to help support you in this transition. Left toes will turn up if you're sitting all the way down. Okay, and we're just gonna move through these a couple of times. So use your inhale, walk your hands along the edge of your mat, lift all the way up, warrior two. Exhale to straighten out your front leg and bend into your back knee and start to come down. If you need an extra breath in the transition, take what you need. You're just gonna move through this about 2 or 3 more times. So you're reversing your warrior, coming back through center, both legs straight, and then Skandasana, your yogi ninja, coming all the way down. All right, continue with your movement, slow, mindful, add in any arm movements that feel good. You're gonna go through this 1 more time. Really finding the rhythm of your breath. All right, next time you meet in Skandasana, this is where it's changing. High runner's lunge. Walk your hands along the edge of your mat, meet into your low lunge first. Try and pivot all 10 toes to the top of your mat, and then use your inhale breath to rise tall. Use your exhale, bring your hands through heart center. Inhale, hinge forward, long line from the crown of your head to your back heel. Exhale, twist. Right elbow taps your left thigh. You're pausing here for just a moment. Press into your hands, lengthen through your spine. Gaze down at your left big toe, and then when you're ready, right foot steps to meet your left. Okay, squeeze your thighs together. Try to lift your belly off of your thighs. Maybe you sit your hips back. If you look down at your knees, they should be in alignment. If not, just pull your right knee back. That one tends to pull forward here. All right, make sure you're breathing. Inhale, breath, bring your hands back through heart center. Exhale to fold. Heel toe your feet hip width distance. Yogi squat. Turn your toes out to 10 and 2 and slowly sink your hips down. 5 full recovery breaths. You're welcome to stay in yogi squat. If you wanted to play with crow or any other variation, you have about 5 full breaths to do so. Otherwise, just catch your breath. Listen for the sounds of your inhales and your exhales. Allow yourself a little bit of space to just be. Lizard on the other side. Hands will release down to your mat. Use your inhale to pick up your hips and step your right toes back. And then exhale, if you did so on the other side, lower your right knee down. You're here for a little bit longer, especially because we've used a lot of the glutes and hip flexors today. So let this be a really gentle stretch. You don't have to go into a really deep opening. The time that you spend here will eventually bring you there. So give yourself just a gentle place to land. know that your depth might be a little bit different on this side. And can you also honor wherever you've landed your body today? Even if it's not the same as it has been in past practices, you send yourself gratitude for just showing up on your mat. Sometimes that's the hardest part. Take one more breath. And then use your exhale to bring both hands down. A three-legged dog, press into your hands, left foot sweeps back behind you, bend into your left knee, stack into your hips, and then exhale, take your left foot towards the earth. Full breath in, and long exhale, breath out. Looking forward, step your way to the top of your mat, forward fold, take an inhale breath, halfway lift and lengthen, and exhale to fold. Bend into your knees, inhale breath, sweep your arms all the way up. Exhale, hands gather to heart center. Okay, we're gonna find just a little bit of movement. This is my favorite breathing Kriya. Okay, you've probably done this with me before. Just make sure you have arms width distance beside you and arms length in front. Otherwise, you might be sending some things flying in your house. All right, inhale, breath, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, sit back into your chair. Make sure your feet are hip width distance. If your feet are together, you're gonna feel a little bit topsy-turvy. So feet wide. Okay. Start to find a bounce into your knees, breath of joy. This month, my theme was joy, and this to me embodies it, okay? It's 3 inhale breaths. So keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna talk you through it. 3 inhales through your nose, so short, quick inhales. The exhales through your mouth, it's a full body sigh. So feel like you're pushing air out to blow out a candle, a really big candle. Okay, ready? We're gonna do this together on the bounces in 3, 2, 1. Inhale up, inhale arms out, inhale arms up, exhale arms back, drape your body, okay? Inhale up, inhale out, inhale up, exhale back. Inhale up, inhale out, inhale up, exhale back. And inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, inhale, inhale. I just want you to let your body move with freedom here, okay? So we're gonna take about 4 more rounds of this, allowing you to find that rhythm, steadiness of your legs, and that freedom of your upper body. Like you're throwing away anything you don't need. Okay, last 2. Throw it back behind you. Last one. On your inhale, rise all the way up. And then exhale, take your hands to heart center, Tadasana, mountain pose. Release your palms beside you. Roll your shoulders once or twice. Do you feel that energy coursing through your body? So this is a reminder, no matter how stale or stagnant we're feeling, no matter how off, that sometimes we just have to change and shift the energy. Okay. Give yourself a couple of deep breaths. Now come back down to the parasympathetic nervous system because we're going to play into a couple of arm balances. On your inhale breath, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold, let that go. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. You heel toe your big toes together. Start to pick up your heels, bend your knees, and then sit your hips down towards your heels. Okay. If this is where you're working into today in the flexion of knees, great. Otherwise, start to walk your hands over towards the right side of your mat. So you'll notice my left elbow actually hooks beside my knee. For some of you, you might not have that much twist and it might just be your right elbow. That's okay too. Okay. Walk your hands about a foot away from your body. So you need your hands to be out, not right next to you, otherwise you have nowhere to go. So hands walk out a little bit and then plant your hands. Okay, Okay, start to bend your elbows and then pick up your hips. So you're coming into a side crow. As you bend your elbows, you create a shelf for your thighs to come onto. You'll need to pick up your heels. That's going to give you that extra lift. And you might just play with staying here. Okay, if you feel comfortable, you'll start to tip your weight to your fingertips. If that's not available, what you can do is just play with this rock. So rock into fingertips, come back. Just play with rocking your thigh up onto the backs of your arms. If you get your thigh up onto the backs of your arms, start to lean your shoulders towards your fingertips, just like you do in chaturanga. Maybe you lift up your left toe, maybe you lift up your right, and then all of a sudden you'll actually find your inside toe. If you can't seem to get your hips on your heel or your thigh onto the backs of your arms, pick up your heels, lift your hips up a little bit. So like you're stacking yourself over on top of your arms. We'll take it just a little bit longer to play with this. If you're done, you're tapped out, you're like, no more arm balance on this side, come back to a forward fold. Okay, so you're gonna meet there. We'll take about 3 more breaths. And then you can circle out your wrists, move them in both directions. Wrists can get a little bit tight in arm balances, so just give them a bit of mobility. And then once again, heel toe your big toes together to touch. Start to sit your hips down towards your heels. And then walk your hands over to the left. What this pose requires is that deep twist. So if this is where you're working into today, just to come into the twist, great. That's totally fine. You can stay here and just work on finding some balance. If you're working into the arm balance, walk your hands a little bit further away from your body, because it is a lean. So you need somewhere to lean onto. If you're too close, you won't be able to pick up your hips. So walk your hands out, maybe about a foot. That's about 2 of those long tiles on the floor or 1 square tile. All right, press into your hands. Start to pick up your hips as you bend your elbows, and then just play with taking your hip bone or your thigh onto the backs of your elbows. You might not even feel like there's a space to land, and that's okay. But if you can connect the two, that's a start. Once you connected the two, then you can play with just leaning, take your shoulders more towards your fingertips, and then maybe you pick up 1 toe at a time. Some of you might only have that 1 elbow, and that's okay. Then your right hand is going to support you. So all of your weight would actually be on that left elbow. Okay. You got a couple more breaths if you want to play with this. Otherwise, at any point, meet into forward fold, and we'll go from there. Okay. Couple of breaths in forward fold. Circle out your wrists. Shake out your hands. Let that go. And then take an inhale breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Plant your hands, step your toes back, high plank. Lower all the way onto your knees. Lower down onto your forearms, and then take your hips to your mat sphinx pose. Untuck your toes. You can take your toes wide. Shoulders land maybe over top of your elbows, but if you want to make this more restorative, just walk your fingertips further forward. Let your head be an extension of your spine. So there's no creasing or break of this long line of your spine. So chin slightly humbles towards your chest, but your head isn't hanging and it's not cranked up. It's just somewhere in the middle there. Soften into your glutes. Relax into the muscles of your back. Feel your belly press down into the ground as you breathe in. And then soften out as you exhale. Take 3 more breaths. Walk your elbows out wide and bring your left cheek either to the ground, or you can always take it onto a pillow. I'm using a block, but trust me, a pillow will be a lot more comfortable. You're working into a broken wing stretch. You can have your arms cactus, or if you prefer in this pose, arms can come out to a T shape. Left cheek is to your mat, so you're looking over to the right. So you'll see your right hand will start to slide up and plant beside your right shoulder. Press into your right hand and roll to your left. The right side body starts to stack over top of the left. Let your head hang heavy. Sorry, not hang heavy, let it rest heavy. So you want your head supported. That's why if it feels like your head is lifted, you'll just slide that pillow underneath. Feel the opening across the top of your chest and shoulders. Breathe deeply into your rib cage. And then on your next exhale breath, you'll just gently let that go and roll back onto your belly. Switch, so the opposite cheek is to your mat. So now you have your right cheek to your mat. Press into your left hand, roll over towards your right side. Moving towards Shavasana, so these next couple poses are relaxing in nature. They're meant to drop you out of kind of that energy we just built to steady us through the arm balances, and now giving yourself kind of that down wave. So if you imagine that you were floating on the ocean, that last little bit of your practice was building up, and now we're starting to drop it back down. And this moment of slowing down and relaxation is to give you the space so you can start to build some energy into the rest of your day and just have these little waves throughout your day. Or you need bursts of energy, and then you can just slow down, breathe, soften. On your next exhale breath, you can gently roll all the way back through center. Okay, bend into your knees and pick your heels up towards the sky. Drop your feet left and right, left and right. And then with as little movement as possible, so keeping this pretty calm energy, release tops of your feet down and just pencil roll yourself onto your back. We're gonna close off with a bit of an opening for the lower back, so you can bring your knees into your chest and just start there. This should feel nourishing for the spine, especially after being on your belly. Might feel good to rock side to side. Then we'll start to move into variations of happy baby. So you can take your hands onto your knees or your shins and just separate your knees to the sides of your rib cage. You're welcome to pause here. Heels rest heavy in towards the backs of your legs. If you're craving a little bit different, you can pick your heels up towards the sky for a full happy baby. And this is really a pose you can add in any movement, especially if you're still feeling a little bit sticky. Also from this pose, available as shoulder stand, is plow, waterfall, feet up to the sky. Okay, so lots and lots of variations. If you need a different pose to close off in, butterfly, or you want to drop knees left and right, know that you have that agency to do so. We are moving to Shavasana, so anytime over the next minute or so, you can start to make your way there. Please know that there is absolutely no rush. You can take your time. So what's really important with this practice? Vinyasas are meant to move energy. And we talked a little bit about this last night, that energy in the form of emotions, that emotions are energy in motion, it can get stuck in the body. especially when we're feeling heavy or overwhelmed or outside circumstances aren't ideal. We can take on that energy and store it. And so just to physically move the body, start to move that energy around and give it a space to release. And that's why this pause is so, so, so important. You've done the work. You've released some of the energy. You've moved it. Now you can just let it go. So soften from your toes all the way up towards the crown of your head. Let your body come into full relaxation. Allow your breath to be long, slow, and steady. And even if it's just for now, give yourself the space to surrender. Think about this as the final piece of the puzzle that allows everything to come together. You don't have to do any more work. You just get to drop back into being. I'll leave you here for a couple moments in silence on my end so you can untangle any thoughts or emotions that are coming up that are holding on. And so you can just start this day by spending a little bit of time with yourself. I'll bring you out shortly. Notice how your body feels in this moment after just coming into rest. When animals are in the sympathetic nervous system, so that state of stress, the fight or flight, once they come out of it, once the situation has dissipated or disappeared, animals physically shake their body to release that surge of the central nervous system. As humans, because our stress isn't physical in nature, a lot of the times we don't release. And so just moving like we did today allows us to start to unhinge some of that stuck tension or energy. And then this is where you just let it all go. So you can slowly just start to move into your body. Maybe you rock your head side to side or circle out your ankles or wrists. There's no rush. If you want to stay in Shavasana, you're welcome to. Otherwise, roll to your favorite side and start to press up to seated. And know that you can take these lessons with you throughout your day. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling heavy, maybe take breath of joy, get moving, get breathing, and then also give yourself that space to just settle, relax. So you bring yourself into that movement and momentum, but then to also have the space to just simply be. So much love and so much gratitude from the bottom of my heart. Namaste.